folks, on behalf of all of us here in the library, as we celebrate 70 years in Ballyfermot, I just want to extend a really warm welcome to everybody here. You're all our special guests. Actually, it's very hard to single anybody out, but of course, Paddy, we have invited here today because we want to remember the Keenan family. We want to remember Paddy's father, Johnny, and all the Keenan family. But just on this opportunity, because we're celebrating 70 years, we're looking back. Libraries are all about memory and legacy and remembering and preserving all of this for the future. John Keenan was a wonderful man. He passed, he was the sixth generation Uilleann Piper. He passed his skills to his exceptional family of wonderful musicians. He himself was an actual craftsman, an artist as well as a musician. He was an extraordinary man. And many people have been touched by him. I can say Martin Nolan here, also got lessons from John from the very start. I know the Finbar Fury was with John also. So we have an awful lot to celebrate. So on this day, we just want to remember the Keenan family. And I know Paddy doesn't want too much fuss or whatever.
Not really, no.
Not really. Not at all. I have to embarrass you now, Paddy. By all the praise to the Keenan family for all they've done, for the legacy, for the preservation of the music, for bringing it to the international stage. And on this occasion, Paddy, we want to remember you as well as your dad.
Thank you very much.
We want to make a very small presentation to you. Mary, who's chairperson of our 70 years commission. You can stay seated, Paddy, you're all strapped up to your instrument.
Could I just say a word there before that? We shouldn't forget the Nellies family, the Weldons.
Oh, I know.
The Sweeneys. I mean, the first time I ever went to Europe actually was with Liam Weldon took me to Europe. And we had a group back in the 60s that were called the Paddies. And there was Liam, myself, my brother Johnny, Nelly, you remember, and Johnny Flood.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning, back as far as 1965 or anything.
Yeah.
And no, we shouldn't forget, because he was one of the great, the whole family actually, but Liam was special.
He was.
Very, very special.
I know he was. And his beautiful CD, the
Dark Horse in the Water.
Thank you very
song,
much.
the
Getting
other
to see your
soundtrack.
moment here, honestly, and to listen to him on YouTube.
And of course the Furies and all the
Superb.
other families.
Absolutely.
Sweeneys and
Yeah, this place is rich,
yourself.
rich in the connection to traditional music.
yourself.
Myself.
Martin there. And all the younger people coming along, Derek and Paddy up there, Dira, and even Stephen Morehouse
And
there.
the young
Even
lad here.
Stephen Morehouse. Super to have you, Stephen, with us today. Super to have you. And all the other musicians whose names I don't know. Listen, you've just been brilliant, and we just want to pay tribute to you as we celebrate 70 years of Ballyfermot. We have a lot to look forward to in the years ahead. You know, it's such talent. But Paddy, at this moment,
It was Liam's birthday yesterday.
and it was Liam's birthday yesterday, actually. It was Liam's birthday yesterday.
Very true for
So
me.
I know he's always in your thoughts now, but yesterday, when we think of him especially. He was a friend of the library service, actually, Liam was. There was a great arts movement here in the 70s, and Liam was very involved. You know, we remember him really well. Well, Paddy, Mary, who's chairperson of the 70 years celebratory committee, has a little gift for you on behalf of all of us in Ballyfermot. We're so delighted to have you here today.
I don't think Una wants you to stand up, Paddy. On behalf of the Ballyfermot 70 Years Festival Committee, we'd like to present you with this
Thank you,
presentation to acknowledge...
Is that me?
So it's to
I
acknowledge...
remember that photo very well, actually. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Acknowledge the wonderful contribution that yourself and your dad and your family have made to the growth of Irish traditional music, not alone in Ireland but abroad, and I can certainly say that your legacy lives on in Ballyfermot.
It'll be hanging on my grandchildren's wall. That's
Exactly,
amazing.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And it's wonderful to see so many young people here today, that your legacy lives on, and that Irish traditional music is beyond the free were in Ballyfermot. So we're Mina Magat was Cogartis.
How do you just put it down a little? Okay, just look up this way, lads.
Paddy, look up.
Look up. I hate cameras.
Okay.
We were only getting your hat in.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Did you learn from your dad at a very young age?
I did, yeah. But my brother played before I did, and he used to prop me up actually in the bed when I was soon after I was born, and played the banjo to me, and he also played the fiddle, and it was actually him that started me on the whistle, the penny whistle as we call it today, the $200 whistle, and from there, I remember one day my dad was off fishing with Ted Fury. And he did say to me before he left, I was mad in love with the pipes actually at the time, but he said, when I come back, he said, if you can play me a tune on the pipes, see what I can do about getting you set.
Brilliant.
And so pipes were being handed away back then, nobody wanted to, back in the 60s, 50s, 60s. And when he came back, I played him a bit of Rakish Paddy. I don't know how it sounded, but I played what I could of the tune, and from there I became I used to use the designated piper. I became the piper of the family, and the rest of them played other instruments because I'd be kept back, practicing on his tuition while the rest of the kids were out playing. And of course I'd have been much preferred to be out there playing, but he chose me to be.
Your father also was a great teacher of other people in Ballyfermot, wasn't he?
He indirectly and directly, as Martin pointed out there. Also Davy Spillane was under his tuition for a bit, and Fimber lived with us for some
Fimber
years
Fury?
in Ballyfermot, and I'm sure Fimber was influenced as well because we played together, and my dad, I'm sure, gave him some tips as he did.
And Martin here, he learned from your dad as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I learned directly from him, which is great.
Well, Martin,
Super.
yeah.
I'm looking around here, and look, before we go on to that, the music stood you in good stead because you were part of a group called the Pavies in the 60s,
In
isn't
the
that
beginning,
right?
yeah, with Liam and my brother, Johnny Flood, and then my dad joined the band or the group, and we played for many years, after that.
And then you were part of the Bothy band from the very beginning. What was that like?
I don't want to go into that. I don't want to go back there. They were great.
You were rock stars when you were in the Bothy band.
Well, we got work where other traditional bands didn't. Like for example, the Rock venue in London, the Rainbow, and played alongside the Kinks and Golden Earrings, and bands where you wouldn't find traditional Irish bands at the time.
What was it that Donal Lunny said about you? You were the what? With the Uilleann Pipes. Come on, if you don't tell them, I will.
You go ahead and tell them.
Donal Lunny described you as the Jimi Hendrix of the Uilleann Pipes. That's some accolade, isn't it?
Why? It's just another piper, like.
Because it's rock star.
I think it was because of my madness and stuff, and the wildness of the playing at the time. Because I didn't get music at school, so it was kind of wild, and possibly why he referred to Hendrix.
There's a great revival of the Uilleann Pipes these days, isn't there? People like the sound of it, and I think they relate to the fact that they're very much part of our Irish tradition.
It's true, yeah. I couldn't, in the 60s, I couldn't sell a Rousum set, who was one of the major makers, if not the major maker of pipes at the time in the 60s. I couldn't sell them for £40, and nobody wanted to hear them. I mean, I remember playing with my dad and with the group in Moore Street in a pub, and I could see the young lads, and I was a long-haired hippie at the time, and I looked at them and said, "Hey, when do you hear your man on the cats? When do you hear him squeaking and squawking?" It was so embarrassing, man. But back then pipes were, that, Martin, pipes weren't. They weren't cool at all, no?
Pipes are very cool now.
They're in every music genre,
Yeah,
in the
they're
world.
brilliant. They're brilliant. There was a very nice moment here this afternoon when you were presented with an engraving of yourself playing the pipes. Was that a special moment for you?
Very, very. I wasn't expecting that at all. I wasn't actually expecting this either, but it's great to see, and thank you very much to everyone for having me here. Yes.
It's nice to be a part of the 70th birthday celebrations of Ballyfermot, isn't it?
Yeah, we moved in somewhere in 55, 56, I think. It's only just shortly after the estate began. And I don't know when it started, I think it was the 40s something. So I was here for the beginning there enough, and we pulled out in 1966.
Mary, I think there's a lovely last question in about bringing the musical tradition to the present.
That's what I'm going to say, yeah. I like the idea that you have your peers gathered here playing music with you, but also that the traditional music is being passed on to the next generation. We've got young men here behind, and also young Stephen Morehouse.
Well, that's what's more amazing, yeah. It's great to see that the kids have an interest in the Irish tradition and culture. And great to see young lads like this, like young lad here.
So maybe we play something all together, would you?
Would love to, yeah. Well,
Okay.
would you like to start something maybe?